Right, Gooners, welcome back to the Arsenal Insider YouTube channel. I am once again joined by Rosie Tubble. How you doing, Rosie?
I'm good. I'm not as good as last week, I must say, results wise, but good nonetheless.
Yeah, we'll dive into that in depth. Obviously, the Man City game a little bit frustrating. Um, certain aspects of it. Great win over Port Vale though, in an enthralling encounter in Port Vale, wherever that is. Finally, Eze getting off the mark. We now have Newcastle away on Sunday at St James's Park. Obviously, a huge game that has been very difficult for us in previous seasons. And yeah, can we take the handbrake off? That is something we will be discussing. Is Arteta a little bit too pragmatic in these big games? Make sure you're subscribed, turn on the notifications so you can never miss a video. And let's get into it. The big news from the weekend, obviously, for us, Martinelli scoring the late equaliser. Incredibly important goal. I'm not sure I could deal with all the narratives for, the next week if we haven't secured at least a point there. Um, yeah, Rosie, talk to me about that Martinelli goal and how this sort of lifts the music around the Emirates.
Well, it was an amazing goal. It was a match like winning worthy goal, to be honest. Like I just don't know how he did it. And Eze spotting the run, sorry, was inch perfect pass as well, brilliant. And then Martinelli just took it down somehow. I mean, if you've played football, you know that's near impossible to execute, let alone in injury time against Man City. So yeah, a great goal, and it just got us out of jail, to be honest. I mean, we're all talking about the goal now, but we could have been talking about something, that would have been a bit catastrophic. The actual performance was dominating, but I'm kind of bored of hearing like, yeah, we dominated games, we dominated Man City, we reduced Pep Guardiola to 30 possession or something, and it's like, yeah, cool, but we didn't get 3 points. So, yeah, Martinelli saved what could have been a really awful defeat, to be honest.
Yeah, indeed. Hopefully this is the start of him sort of rediscovering his form, obviously, of netted against Athletic Club last week as well, which we spoke about. But yeah, he's finally making those runs in behind again, which is what I've called for him to do, like playing to his strengths. Don't wait to get the ball on the touchline and try and beat three men. That's something you're just not very good at. Just make those runs in behind, which is something he was amazing at when he first broke through. Do you think he can make a big difference at St James's Park?
I think he can, but as you said, he's got to do the things that he's good at rather than the things that perhaps Mikel Arteta's, drilling into him tactically. Because sometimes slow build up around the outside, it doesn't go anywhere. And for Martinelli, most times he doesn't beat his man. So yeah, quick balls over the top and get him going. And there's no reason why he can't make the difference. We just got to hope that comes into play.
Indeed. Let's get into the handbrake stuff and the sort of controversial narratives around Arteta's approach to big games in particular. I kind of think the City game, both managers got what they deserved, which was not 3 points, because both managers were incredibly negative. I think we basically decided we were going to defend with the ball by just keeping possession and just penning them in, but not actually trying to do anything in the final third. And City decided they'd try and do basically the same, but without the ball and sit behind the ball and do nothing. And it made for an abysmal game, which tends to be the case between Arsenal and City when it's Pep v Arteta. And yeah, a lot of it sort of stemmed from the starting 11 and including Mikel Merino in the midfield. And obviously some people were frustrated with Trossard as well. How do you feel about this narrative generally, Rosie? Like the handbrake stuff, and just, are you one of those who is a bit frustrated about our cautious nature in these games?
Yeah, I have to admit I am. I don't like jumping on Arteta because we know what he's done for the club since he came in. And he had a really, really difficult job when he came in. So we need to remember that. And it's not been too long at all compared to, other managers that have stepped in and had everything on a plate. I really don't think Arteta did have it that way. But now it is getting quite frustrating because we've kind of overcome these boundaries, which would be like, I don't know, 22, 23. We turned into this defensive machine with free flowing attacking football. Season after, I thought we were just near perfect, obviously missing out by just 2 points. And now we've kind of stalled and kind of declined a little bit. I mean, we're not exciting to watch anymore at all, and part of that is to do with Arteta just wanting to not lose, and sometimes that doesn't mean win. Of course, he always wants to win, and he'll. But we can't even argue and say he's setting us up to win because that Man City lineup was really underwhelming. And it's no disrespect to Trossard. It's just that there were better options there. And when you've spent that much money in the summer on, some of those options, why aren't they playing? And yeah, I just think that the handbrake off thing does carry weight. Like the handbrake is on a little bit. We don't look like we're, ready to, fly out the blocks. And I mean, you look at Martinelli's goal against Liverpool, I think it was 23, 24, no, season before, I think, when he just scored after not even a minute. You'd never see Arsenal doing that now. And we are conservative in our approach. And yeah, we don't lose many games, but it comes to a point where is that going to win us the title? No, it's not, because it hasn't been working. And I think we've regressed a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the City game in particular, he got it wrong. The team selection, and I think he realised that because he acted at half time and realised I didn't need to be this sort of conservative, particularly after he saw City sat behind the ball for, as soon as they scored for the rest of that half. I think he realised, yeah, I've made a mistake here. And I do think he is just inherently a very conservative, pragmatic manager, all obsessed with control. And I've kind of just accepted that, even if it's not very exciting. I do think we are the best defensive team in the world. I don't think it's even particularly close. We just don't give up anything. And I think because we haven't won anything, fans are, and we aren't playing in a way that neutrals like, so neutrals are criticising us. Fans are letting it get to us because it's not very exciting, but I still think we're extremely good. And I think if we play like this throughout the rest of the season, it'll be very dull, but I think we can definitely win stuff, even if we don't become much better going forward, because look how few goals we're conceding. Like, we basically just need to nick one or two in every game and we've won. I know it's not the style people want to see, but yeah, I'm still pretty confident in that. Anyway, Eze off the mark against Port Vale. Lovely little nonchalant finish. And yeah, Arteta went strong against Port Vale, but I guess that is just a symptom of having an incredibly good squad. Like, he's still made, I think, like 8 or 9 changes or something. Do you think Eze has warranted a start now with that goal and his impact off the bench against C?
Yeah, definitely. I think specifically in central midfield, because I don't know how much action Odegaard's had, but to bring him back into Newcastle away is crazy. So I do think Eze's warranted that, and I think Martinelli equally has also warranted a start on the left. So I'd say it chooses itself. There's a lot of discourse about the lineup against Port Vale, and I just thought that the team are still gelling, particularly the new signings, and I think Eze really needed that goal. Because he's not been particularly bad. I think he's got 4 goal contributions or something, but that's not good enough apparently nowadays. So, but no, great to see him score. And yeah, he just looked to control things. He never overdoes anything, does he? And it's kind of weird to see in our attack because I feel like we're guilty of that so much. So, yeah, I think he'll bring a bit of like calmness to what is going to be like a cauldron like St James's Park. So I'm quite excited to see him if he starts. But is it Mikel Merino again? I just can't even joke about it because it's actually quite traumatizing.
Yeah, I agree. It should definitely be Eze if Odegaard's not available, which, yeah, I don't think he'll throw him straight back in. I hope it's not Marino. I don't think it will be. I've got a feeling he'll go away from that. I've got a feeling instead of sort of trying to match Newcastle's physicality, he's going to try and field more technical players and just sort of play around their press. But it wouldn't be that Arteta, so maybe not. Obviously, a place where we have struggled at in recent seasons. I remember the Anthony Gordon controversial goal, where there was like 4 things VAR were checking. Last season, Isak's header, very bad game that at St James's. We don't like going to this ground, but Newcastle haven't been great so far this season. I think they've conceded. They've been very good defensively. They've only conceded in the Liverpool game, obviously, which they lost 3-2, that last minute goal from Guimarães. Um, so they've looked very strong defensively, but haven't looked very good going forward at all. Obviously, adapting to the lack of Isak. So that kind of sets up for another very dull game, unfortunately. How do you think we go about trying to make it less of a dull game? Or do you think we should make it a dull game? Try and silence the crowd, make it just horrific in the first half, then try and nick it in the second half against a very good defensive team?
I think I need to take back what I said about Arteta being conservative because this is the game to do it. I think it was like a couple of seasons ago when Havertz fouled someone on the touchline and St James's Park just completely erupted and the whole game just like spiraled into this like carnage. So yeah, keep it boring and just do what we can. But for this game in particular, I just think it's a battle in the midfield. Like their midfield is I can't believe I'm saying it, probably as good as ours, to be honest. Like they all know their roles, but equally they can get very excited. So I think if Zubimendi can have someone close to him, it's going to be a difference maker. But also, I'm not entirely convinced on Rice and Zubimendi at the moment, as to be expected. But I think this could be a game where they can really prove themselves and step up. I think the game will be won in midfield. And then it's just about trying to get what we can from the rest, and most importantly, keeping St James's Park quiet.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, just hopefully Joe Linton doesn't break anyone's legs, because that's always a worry when you come up against him. But yeah, midfield battle is probably where it will be won and lost. Obviously Rice, Bruno Guimarães, Joe Linton, Tonali. It's going to be physical, and it's whether we either try and match them physically in the middle of the park, or we just decide to sort of retain the ball and try and play through them, rather than making it a sort of physical contest. I think set pieces will also be crucial. Newcastle against Liverpool in that game were just spamming those long throws, and it was causing Liverpool all sorts of issues defensively. Obviously, we are one of the best from that point, part of the game. So we should be able to deal with it. But we haven't looked that threatening from them in the last few games. I know we started the season, the Calafiori goal against United, Timber against Leeds, but since then we haven't really done much in their box. So yeah, anything on those set pieces?
I'm just a bit confused about the short corners thing. Like we've gone from one sort of like extreme to the other. I don't know if people have sussed us out or if we're just like trying something new. But I remember we had a corner against Port Vale and it just ended up going back towards Raya, and I was like,
that was like every corner against
it was
Port Vale.
crazy. Like, we've gone from this absolute powerhouse of just drilling in an amazing cross, and then someone's just on the end of it to completely fire it in the back of the net, and now we're just messing around. It's like Unai Emery, Arsene, like late Wenger sort of years, which was quite horrifying to see. But yeah, I think we need a goal from set play, which is crazy to hear, but we obviously need them from open play too. But just to get a bit of confidence back, I don't know why suddenly the threat is gone, because it's not even the finishing. It's like the balls aren't getting on, no one's getting on the end of the balls. So that'll be good. And against Newcastle, it's the ultimate test because they have got so much height in their back line. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And I'd like to see us get the better and also get the better of them defensively, because as you said, they are very strong in that area.
Yeah, and it's the first game for a while we'll have Rice and Saka starting, presumably. So we should have the deliveries much better off. Yeah, I think that the short corners against Port Vale were, because it was basically every corner. I feel like Nicholas Jova just said to them, let's try these short corners, just use this game as an experiment. Not sure we'll be doing it much in the future because, yeah, as he said, basically everyone ended up back in the halfway line or back to Kepa. So, yeah. Let's get your score prediction and your key man for this game, Rosie.
Oh God, I literally hate predicted Newcastle away because I just dislike watching it like immensely. It's not enjoyable. It just causes me stress. So I'm gonna go a 1-1 draw. I think I just never see us winning at Newcastle. I know it's not been that long since we did, but it's just such a tough fixture and their crowd is brilliant. So yeah, 1-1 draw. And if anyone's gonna make the difference, let's go Martinelli again. Why not? He's not given us a reason to say any different. So yeah,
I'm gonna say typically optimistic 1-0. I think we'll scrape it. I just feel like we're never going to concede. I know Haaland scored against us, but so far we've conceded a Haaland goal and a Szoboszlai 50-yard free kick or whatever. And key man, I'm going to go Declan Rice. I think he always turns up at St James's Park, even when we don't. He's always looked pretty good there. A couple of years ago in that Anthony Gordon controversial goal game, I think he was excellent. So yeah, Newcastle away. It's never easy. But if Arsenal's serious about winning the title, we have to go there and win after the drop points against City. So yeah, huge game. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and we'll be back again next week. Come with you, Gunners.